Alright folks, welcome back to Irish and Scottish Fishing and Fly Tying. So today I'm going to show you how to tie up an oar salmon pattern that I use. So this is the Moy Green, and this is my variation of how I tie the Moy Green. So it's obviously a pattern that was invented for fishing the River Moy in Ireland, and it's good in a flat calm at the end of a hot summer's day, or you can fish it on in peaty water or clear water for fresh fish because of the colours in it. And like if you look at the colours as well, it's like similar to the same colour pattern as a Green Highlander, but obviously with a holographic. So we'll just get into it anyway, folks. So start things off, we'll start off with a hook. So I'm using a B280 KAMASAN. It's a low water double. What you just want to do is get this into the vise. It is quite a big hook, size 8. I do tie it in a size 6 as well, depending on the size of the water. But you can work this fly all the way down to like size 12, or if you want, you know, because it's quite an easy pattern to tie, you can do it on size 14 depending on what you want. But just start off with a layer thread. It's UNI-THREAD 8.0 in black. I'm just going to stop that there, and then I'm just going to tighten up my vise again, and then going to come in with my rib, and it's Uni-French silver oval. Uni-French silver oval. Just catch that into the top of the hook. Catch it into the top of the hook and just run your thread down the hook. Right about there. Just take it up out of the way. You then want to come in and do your tag. You can, depending on what you're comfortable with. You can do a 4 turn or a 5 turn, so that's 2 turns in already. So I'll probably do a 5 turn depending on how well it sits. There's 3, 4, and then 4.5. Bringing it up to the top of the hook, and then back down the middle, just to catch it on. Give it a wee courtesy push back up. Couple of turns in. A couple of tight turns up here, and then work it back down the middle of the hook. All this does just catches it in nice. Just run that up there nice. Leave that on your spring. Then want to come in with golden pheasant crest. Just the one. This is a generic one. I moisten it just to see how it's going to sit. And for the tail length, like, that's a bit too long, about there. I'll catch that in. Couple of light turns to start. Once you're happy with the position, which you am, and then just tighten down and work your way up. I use the rest of it as a bit of a body. Helps maintain it in the position as well. Don't worry too much. I'm going to tidy all this up when I get. As I say, all it's doing is just thickening up the body a bit for me. There we go. And just lock that down. Put a nice layer of thread up and down the hook a couple of times. Don't worry about touching turns. You're going to be laying a silver body over this, so it will cover it up. Just working your way, as I say. I'm just getting out of the. All I'm doing here is just making sure I've got a nice even body. So it's done, and then I'm going to come in with my rib. Not my rib, my body. So the original pattern's tied with silver uni-mallear, but I like tying. The majority of my patterns were holographic, so I'm using silver holographic, and I'm tying it in medium. You can use small, but it'll take longer to go up the hook, or large, but medium seems to do the business for me. So I'm just taking my thread up to the top of the hook. Then I'm going to come in with my Sally Hansen. It's an old one, so just so I can put a bit of varnish on the body to hold my body when I come up with it. I've put a bit much on there, so I'm going to take a bit of that off. Just move it over a bit. That'll do. Then you want to come up with your body then. Just take your time with this, like you just want to make sure you've got good touch and turns all your way up. As you see, I've slipped a bit there off the barb. So I'm just going back in myself and doing it again. Just taking my time. And then I'm just going to go up and do touch and turns. If you miss on the touch and turn and the black comes through a bit, don't worry about it. As I say, I just want this to, I like the holographic body, so I think it gives you a bit more of a flash, and it changes colour in the water as it's coming through. You're just working this all the way up. Missed a bit there, touch and turns. I think when I lock all my stuff off, come up there, 2 turns over. Oh, just hit the camera there, 2 turns over, and then a couple of lock and turns up to there. And then I want to come in and snip it. Come in and snip. That's that done, and then I'm going to come up with my rib. And because I tie my thread this way, I'm going to come up with my rib the other way. So there's one. Just nice even spaced turns. Just taking your time. Just gives the body a bit more protection. Like, I know this French oval stuff isn't the strongest material anyway, but it just holds it in place. You can get away with it if you don't rib it, like so. I just like the way it sits on the body with the rib on it. A couple of turns like that. And come in and snip. That's that done. A little bit of tidying up. There's a bit of an indication of where I'm going to tie in my wing and throat. There we go. That's that done. Now, this pattern is originally tied with orange cock hackle, but for the throat. But I'm going to be using TIPPETS because I just like I like the way it sits. So I've already prepped a bit already waiting for it. So all I'm going to do is come in, and I want it about the length to it's touching the barb. So I'm just going to catch that in the middle. Taking my time. Couple of loose turns. And all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to shape it. Just making sure it's in a good position. And then, if you can see there, it's not sitting out far enough for me. So what I like to do then is I like to come in and actually put a turn. Put a turn around the top, just to turn around the top of it just to get it sitting nice, so it actually looks like a throat. Now I'm going to do is rotate the hook round, and then I'm going to come in and snip off my excess. Just positioning it again so I'm happy with my throat, which I am. A couple of light turns. To get ready for putting on the squirrel tail. Then I'm going to come in with dyed green squirrel tail. That's great stuff. Like the only great colours. The only pain with it is it's can be a bit annoying if you don't tie this in right. It will come out because it's quite a soft material. Slippery material is the better way of explaining it. So I've grabbed a pinch there, roughly about where I want my wing to sit. A couple of those wee fibres there, so I'm just going to get rid of them. So I'm happy with that, so I'm just going to cut that. I'm going going to come in and just double check I'm happy with the size. A little bit past the tail. That's good. Then I'm going to come in and catch it in. Just making sure I'm not happy the way that one's set. I'm going to come off, take that again. It's a little bit long. I'm going to snip these fibers again just to shorten it. And I'm going to come in and catch it in again. See what I'm saying about this material? It's like you need to make sure you get it in right, otherwise it will pull out on you. I'm happy with that at the minute. Yeah, that's good. Shape of that, and then I'm going to come in with a bit of glue before I lock this down. A little bit of super glue and a good generous portion on the thread. What this does is it proper locks in the squirrel tail. Then I'm going to come hold my wing and I'm going to bring it in through the fibre. What that does is it completely locks this material in. There's a little bit of excess glue there, so I'm just going to come in with my finger and get rid of it. And all you want to do now is start to build up your head. Just take your time with it. There's a bit of a step there, but I'm going to get rid of that now once I build my head up. There we go. I'm happy with that. And before I finish off, I'm just going to lick my fingers, just give the wing a bit of a shape. What this does is it lets you know how it's going to fish in the water. It also lets you just set it before the glue sets. There we go. That's perfect, that wing. Come in with me whip finish tool if I can find it. Sorry about that. Make sure you come back a oh, that's gone wrong. Make sure you come back a bit to start your whip finish. 4-turn whip finish, now do it twice. 2, 3, 4. Giving it a courtesy pull. Come in again, 4-turn whip finish. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it, done. Just come in with your Stanley and snip it. Then to finish the head, I'm happy with that. Finish the head, I'm going to come in and put a layer of super glue on the head. Let it dry for a second, and then I'm going to quickly go on it with fine head cement. So there's a nice generous portion of head. Glue, come around the head, taking your time, making sure you don't get it on the fibres. You know you've got it all around the head because the whole head portion will go shiny. Taking your time. All this does is just layer up your thread and locks everything in. But when you're tying with super glue on these heads, you need to make sure you put varnish on them, and timing's critical with it, because if you let it completely dry, it will go white. So I'll give you an example. So I've let that one go dry too much and it's gone white there. That's messed my head up. So you have to make sure you get this on So I'm just going to get a wee dab of Vineyard's Fine Head Cement now. And even though the glue's not go dry yet, all I'm doing is just bobbing it on there. And then I'm going to work it round the hook. It gives me a good fine layer. And I'm going to dry my stick, take any of the excess off. There we go, folks. That's the fly finished. Now I'll put that on my drying stand, and I will put another couple, 4 or 5 extra coats of it on. Just lets the head set up very well. Now this pattern as well, you can put jungle cock on it if you want, but as I say, it's a good wee pattern. I like fishing it. I just like the way it looks in the water. It's great. Now, folks, hope you like this pattern, and if you like any more of these patterns, please subscribe to my channel. As I say, over the next couple of weeks I'm going to continue tying flies, and then when I can get out on the water, I'll be showing you me fishing my patterns, if it's in a still water fishery, out in a big lake, or out salmon fishing, or out brownie fishing. So hope you enjoyed, folks, and I'll see you at the next fly. See you later.